Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by Josh Burns.
What up?
Okay. Brian is not here this week. I swear we really, this isn't a conspiracy. Just life is happening in different ways, pulling us apart that we can't record. But Brian actually right now is at another podcast recording. He is seeing the live show of Hollywood Babylon with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. So hopefully I'll have a very juicy plug that we can do next week where we hear that Brian gets severely embarrassed, but I can only hope. So it's just
Wait, he's not recording with Kevin Smith.
No, he's not
hanging
recording.
out.
That would be awesome.
Audience. That would be awesome.
That would be great.
We haven't reached that status yet.
So it's just the two of us. But hey,
Yes.
listen, it's better than just me. So I just want to say, hey, you're welcome. I got Josh, okay? And thank you to the people who went on to shop.thatkindofnerd.com, took 20% off everything in the shop. So we'll let you know when any of these things come around again. So keep your eyes peeled to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. So we'll let you know when some sales are going on. Now, being that Brian is not here, then this huge responsibility, this burden, dare I say, was thrust upon me to collect what is worthy to be shown in the movie theaters this month.
This list is far better than last month.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to talk about this, and you're not just going to speed round through this.
Last month was just dogs. It was
like
terrible.
speed dating, like next, or like Tinder. No, left, right, left.
Is that the way you? I don't understand Tinder.
That's okay. Someone had to explain it to me.
Okay.
So, good. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about the movies coming out this month of November 2017. It is the Blockbuster. The Blockbuster, yeah. I'm not Brian.
no, you don't have the.
Can't do that. All right,
that's not the Blockbuster one. The Blockbuster one is the high pitched, repeaty, scary.
Oh, the that's it. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, well, I did. Okay, so starting off is a movie that I mean we're all excited for. I would have seen it by the time that you're listening to this. Today, it's Thor. Thor Ragnarok is coming. I mean, do we have to say anything about this movie? It looks amazing.
Yeah, like some of the stuff that was reviewed, it was like, best Marvel movie yet, and I thought, wow, that's saying something.
Yeah, I heard it's a lot of embracing, the Thor character, kind of doing a little course adjustments. My favorite thing that I heard about this before the movie got too far reviewed was, for some reason, I don't know what the logistics are, the Hulk is kind of in this weird limbo thing where they really can't do a standalone Hulk movie. I don't know why, but they have been slowly just kind of building in the Hulk story into other
because every standalone Hulk movie has sucked.
Maybe that's it. I also thought there was some legal logistics, but anyway, they've been telling his story through other people's movies, and this is supposed to be another big chapter of what's going on with Hulk.
You look at it like, okay, Ed Norton greater than Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
But as Hulk, Mark Ruffalo greater than Ed Norton.
Yes.
But if they made Ed Norton suck standalone,
right,
probably Mark Ruffalo doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good thing we don't have a standalone.
But look, I don't think, and like most comic book movies, I don't think now you can do a ton of standalone. There's the big characters, we know them. But all these ensemble movies are where it's at.
Don't tell that to DC. That's ruining their whole plan.
It's ruining
their whole plan.
I agree. Thor seems to be less hokey, more humor. Obviously, he's got the cool new haircut.
Jeff Goldblum. That's all you need.
You got Jeff Goldblum
that's in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of stutter and stammering Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great. So yeah, no, we don't need to say anything more about Thor Ragnarok. Next week we have 3 movies.
Yeah, the 10th has a lot. So we got that Murder on the Orient Express.
Kenneth Branagh. Gimme.
I mean, everyone in that movie. Johnny Depp. I mean, there's the cast list is gigantic. I mean, everybody's in this movie. I don't know people who aren't. It looks great. We also have, oh God, what's her name? The girl from Star Wars, who plays Rey.
Okay, yeah, I totally spaced out on the name.
Brian's yelling at me right now in his car.
If he would have put
Daisy
those
something,
together,
right?
It would have been on there.
Yeah. Listen, this movie looks fantastic. It's a huge, great mystery movie. I'm sucked in. I'm already there. I got my tickets. Let's make it happen. I think it looks fantastic.
Kenneth Branagh.
Man's a national treasure.
He's amazing. He's amazing. Yeah, look, Daddy's Home 2, also on the 10th.
Oof.
Cautiously optimistic because of the additions of Mel Gibson and John Lithgow. I think there's a real chance that this thing is hilarious.
Plus, you're going to get more John Cena, too, because John Cena was in Daddy's Home 1. Did you see the first Daddy's Home?
Yeah.
Okay, so John Cena's going to be in this a little more, too.
Okay, cool. Look, so the good stuff is you can't really beat Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg together, but then you're going to add Mel Gibson, John Lithgow, and more John Cena. Gimme.
This is one of those movies where I'm just like, it's a sequel. I don't know. I agree with you. Cautiously optimistic.
It's worth your movie pass.
Absolutely. Definitely a matinee movie if you don't have.
Yeah, you go matinee this. You steal a soda and you feel good about it.
No, I told you. So I said
nobody.
I said in a Nerd Bite. I am now shamed into buying my concessions. And I've also just given up soda for the month of November. I'm just gonna cut it off because
we give up soda forever. It's poison.
It's poison. So I'm going to go with cups of water, which is they give that to you for free.
All right, well,
I asked,
bonus.
and they give that to me for free.
What couldn't? Okay.
I don't want to sneak a bottle of water in. This is the whole morality of the damn thing. I want to follow the rules.
Yeah, the bottles of water they sell are like $9.
They're $9, and they're like a 2 liter
for like a liter.
Yeah,
for like a
makes
liter.
no sense. All right. So anyway,
drink a liter.
The other movie coming out on the 10th is Three Billboards, and then it's got a huge long rest of the
Three
title.
Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, and it's got Frances McDormand, who if you remember Fargo at all,
yeah.
She was amazing. This is Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell.
I'm all
Karen
there.
Condon, right? I mean, Abby Cornish. It's got a really good cast, and it's a dark comedy. But so when I say dark comedy, and I throw in there Sam Rockwell, Frances McDormand, Woody Harrelson, you should be buying a ticket.
And
this is
the same director who did In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths. So I mean, like,
In Bruges was fantastic.
I've heard good, but it's a if you don't like those two movies, you're going to not like this movie, in my opinion. This director is very polarizing, and he's got a particular style and a way of telling a story. And then the subject matter seems to be a little different too. So I don't know. I don't think this is a movie for everybody. I don't think I'm going to see this movie. I don't think I could convince my wife to go see this movie at all.
This is just a movie for intelligent people.
That's not fair.
No, I'm serious. That's. I mean, I think if you don't understand nuance and you don't pick up on quirky little lines, you're probably not going to find this humor.
Oh, you just may not even like the method of storytelling. I don't know if I would generalize it saying.
It's also Coen brother-esque. Like there's a bit of that.
Yeah.
So, I get it. But, if you consider yourself intelligent, you should probably go check it out. And then,
but what you're saying is if you don't see this movie, you're not intelligent. That's what
and then if you don't like it, you're probably a dumbass.
Go see Daddy's Home 2 again.
At least this will be like, you'll know. Walking out of the theater, you'll know one way or the other.
So, wait, if I see this movie and I'm like, oh, I didn't like it. Oh, I'm dumb. Aww,
that's right. But then
now
at least you can, now you know,
right.
And you can go the rest of your life knowing where you fit in.
All right. Then on the 17th, you may not go to the movie theaters because Punisher is coming out on Netflix, but also coming out that day is Justice League. And there's a little bit of Justice League news that kind of came out this week. We're going to talk about it in Cape Talk. But listen, this movie, to me, is seriously make or break for the DCEU. And I've been burned by Suicide Squad. I've been burned by Man of Steel. I am burned by Batman vs Superman. Wonder Woman has been the only thing that's been keeping me alive. But I am hopeful for this movie. Not cautiously optimistic, nothing like that. I am hopeful that this movie is a new direction and will change things. We've talked about this at nauseam. I can't even speak. We've talked about this movie so much. I'm going to see it. We're all going to see it. We're all going to have to react to it, and it's either going to make or break the DCEU, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I don't agree with make or break because they're just going to keep churning out movies.
That's fine.
I think we've established that people are going to pay for and go see comic book movies regardless. We have What was the count? It was like 20 of them, 21 of them in essentially like a 20-month span. Something like that.
It's something ridiculous.
So I mean, they're not going to stop making the movies. Whether or not it's great, maybe shows them that they need to go a different direction, or maybe they scrap everything and start over. And I don't care. Give me all the comic book movies.
The other one on the 17th is Wonder. And this is, it seems like the Elephant Man for 2017, but kind of like a little kid.
Mask. Think Eric Stoltz.
Mask. Okay. Yeah. Owen Wilson, right? And then
Julia Roberts. I'm out. That's my
the deal breaker.
That's my cue to leave.
This to me seems. This is the thing. Owen Wilson, ever since Marley and Me, is like, oh, wow, maybe I can get a movie where everybody cries. Just like that's his goal, is to just be in really sad movies now. It's like, yeah, no, I'll put Old School behind me. Wow, maybe everyone will cry. That's all. I think that he's going to go for. I won't see. I don't think I can see this movie.
He wasn't in Old School.
I thought he was.
It was Luke Wilson.
Oh, right, the better Wilson. That's
you were
right.
thinking Wedding Crashers.
That's Wedding Crashers, right? No,
you lock it up. Look, I'd much rather see Luke Wilson. I'm sorry, Owen Wilson in the Wedding Crashers type role. He is not great, and then you have Julia Roberts, who is also as well not great, just ruining life for everyone.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
So, yeah, I'm out.
But it's definitely going to make like a lot of mall walkers go see this movie, man. This is the people.
Mall walkers galore for sure. Well, what's the studio?
Oh Jesus, I don't know.
I think that's important because I think it's about it's got Mandy Patinkin.
Oh, Mandy Patinkin,
and it's got Daveed Diggs, who you know from Hamilton. So this is gonna have some draw.
Where do I see the studio in the?
It's Lionsgate.
Oh, nope.
Who you know from horror movies and really nothing else.
Going to pass. Not a hard pass, but pass.
Yeah, the cast is good. Most notably for me are Mandy Patinkin and Daveed Diggs, who are buried way down the marquee. But
okay, the movie though that I really want to talk about though that's coming out in November besides Thor and Justice League, so besides the comic book movies, is Darkest Hour on the 23rd. It's a movie surrounding Winston Churchill and the unrecognizable Gary Oldman. Give me all the Gary Oldman. This has Oscars written just all over it.
And the critics are panning this movie.
Yep. I mean,
it's not being reviewed well, which tells me it's probably going to be amazing.
Yep.
Because critics are morons.
Absolutely. And I mean, Lily James is in the cast as well with Gary Oldman. I mean, this looks great.
But okay, Ben Mendelsohn, right? Who you've seen in a bunch of stuff. Oddly enough, Kristen Scott Thomas makes an appearance. Like was she like, what was Newsroom or one of those? I
think she was in Newsroom.
Okay, I might be wrong about that, but like I don't know. I like her as well. She's solid. It seems like they're doing the story right. I think when you put Gary Oldman in a role, it's going to be well executed.
Right.
And Winston Churchill.
Yeah,
come on.
It looks good. I mean, if you watch The Crown, I'm sure there's going to be a draw from that audience to go watch this. And if you haven't watched The Crown, go watch The Crown on Netflix. It's fantastic. And then wrapping up the month of November on the 23rd also is Coco. It's the Disney. Is it Disney Pixar or just is Pixar, isn't it?
I've never heard of this. What is this? Is this like the
Dia de la Muerte?
Yeah, Day of the Dead. I don't know. No thanks. It's Disney Pixar.
Okay. And then wrapping up the end of the month on the 23rd is Coco, which is the newest Disney Pixar movie. It's the Dia de la Muerte, Day of the Dead movie. It's got a lot of there was some crappy movie that came out like a year and a half ago that had very similar subject matter. And the studio's like, Disney's ripping us off.
Book of Life.
Book of Life. And then to which everyone would reply is, you know how long it takes to make a Disney Pixar movie? Like, I'm sure they had this ready before you guys did. Just calm your shit.
Well, and in Pixar fashion, they've got, great voices in here. Mm-hmm. Voices you will recognize immediately. They're continuing with the John Ratzenberger. He'll be in there somewhere.
Yep. It's just listed as voice on IMDb, by the way. Just voice.
My kids will want to see it. It's being reviewed very well, but all Pixar movies are.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It comes out like Thanksgiving, so I'm probably not going to see this in the theater.
Yeah, this is something that I probably will take my daughter to, but I mean, I'm not going to rush to the theater. And if we don't see it, oh well, we don't see it. You know, I'm not gonna cry over spilt milk. So that's it. It's just not. I mean, seriously, the last couple Disney and Pixar movies I haven't been very excited about. The Good Dinosaur wasn't very good. I wasn't a big fan of Finding Dory. So you know, if I miss it, I miss it. I don't think
I didn't see either of those.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, the world is still spinning. Life is still going on. Like you haven't missed it.
Often happens. No, I pass on a lot of things.
I wanted to take the time too, since we're done talking about the movies coming out in November. I just kind of want to do a little bit of a retrospective of October, because just like Josh said, I got to use my movie pass for a full month, and I got to see a ton of movies. And I just kind of wanted to tell you some yay or nays, just hot takes real quick. So I saw a couple of movies. Starting with The Mountain Between Us. This movie starts off really well. This is the one with Idris Elba and Kate Winslet.
Yeah,
starts off really well, and then just kind of peters off at the end. Just it really has something to say, and then just misses the ending. So I wasn't a big fan, but I know a lot of people will appeal to it. So you may want to check it out, but it's not for everybody. Good date movie, maybe you could say. Saw Blade Runner 2049. I also saw the original Blade Runner for the first time right before I went to go see this movie. I said the very unpopular opinion. I did not like the original Blade Runner. I watched the director's cut, not the ultimate cut or any of the other 6 other cuts. But I loved Blade Runner 2049. I thought it was really good, grounded in the same world. Definitely worth your time if you didn't get to see it. Ryan Gosling did an amazing job. Harrison Ford pointed and yelled at things, which is what you want Harrison Ford to do. But it was really good. But I will say this, the surprise movie, the movie that I liked the most that I saw in October was Happy Death Day. And that's the movie that's a little bit like Groundhog's Day.
Oh, that's the Groundhog's Day with the dead girl.
It was really great because they did not overdo any gore, right? Or any kind of violence, because she has to continuously die. They didn't lean on that too much, which is great. They added a little bit of a twist to the fact that she is repeating her death and what happens to her. And the movie does a really good fake out at the end and then wraps it up in a very neat little bow. Definitely worth your time. If you do not like horror films, if you do not like slasher films, if that is not your genre, that's okay. This movie has a ton of humor. It really is a perfect blend between Groundhog's Day and a little bit of horror and suspense with mystery. It's a fantastic movie. Go check out Happy Death Day. The movie that let me down the most was The Foreigner. Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan. It starts off with like 20 minutes of Jackie Chan being like Liam Neeson and Taken. It's everything you want. You're like, yeah. And then you get a movie about the IRA. And you're like, whoa. I did not sign up for a movie about the IRA. I wanted to see Jackie Chan go exact some revenge. I wanted him to go Liam Neeson on people. I don't want to see Pierce Brosnan be like, oh, the Irish are really bad. Like, it's not what I wanted. So I was very disappointed by it. My wife saw the Snowman movie, and if anyone else saw the Snowman movie, I hope you all got your money back. It was terrible, so bad that I said, nah, you go without me. It's fine. I'll stay home with the kids. You go see that movie. I'm not going to see it. So those were the movies that I saw. Again, the biggest takeaway is definitely go check out Blade Runner 2049. It was really good. If you haven't seen Blade Runner, you'll be okay.
You've seen Mallrats, right?
Yes.
So Kevin Smith, and we talked about Kevin Smith a bit earlier, but there was this, Mallrats is very near and dear to my heart. And there's a scene in Mallrats where Brody, the main character, is incensed by this child being on the escalator. That kid is back on the escalator, right?
Right.
That was Laura every time you posted a movie. CJ is at the movies again? He's got 2 children. How does he have the time to go to all these movies? And it was like the equivalent of, I hope his pants get caught and a bloodbath ensues, because she was visibly frustrated by the number of movies you got to go to. She's like, I don't get to go to movies. I don't get to go see movies. I have 2 kids. He has 2 kids. Same number of kids. No movies. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. He's optimizing his life and entertainment.
My wife and I, we love the movies. I mean, that is our date night. That is our thing that we bond over. It's our love that way.
You get date nights too?
Well, yeah. And then my mother-in-law, she watches my kids. So listen, and Movie Pass has made all the difference. Like if I didn't have Movie Pass, I wouldn't have seen all those movies. It's now time to go ahead and take a look at the world of movies, though. What's happening? What is the news? It is time for That Kind of Nerd to go screen to screen. And we are starting off with huge news. Just Disney decided to open up a vault and say, hey, here's some stuff. They have announced the entire cast of the live-action Lion King movie. And I'm pretty damn impressed. Yeah, so we already knew that James Earl Jones was going to reprise his role as Mufasa. Donald Glover as Simba, but we found out that Beyonce is going to be Nala.
That's awesome. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
You say that again. Just
Chiwetel Ejiofor is who you mean.
He's going to be playing Scar.
I can't guarantee I said that correctly.
No, we would definitely butchered the name.
But like I'm looking at this, and we've got Alfre Woodard as Sarabi,
John Oliver as Zazu.
Zazu.
Keegan Michael Key, Eric Andre. We already knew about Seth Rogen. This is a great cast.
Billy Eichner as Timon and Seth Rogen as Pumbaa. That's going to be very, very interesting.
And then we got Jon Favreau directing this.
Yeah, this is great.
Everything about this is amazing.
It's really great.
So I am super pumped for this movie. It's coming out in the summer.
Beyonce as Nala is very impressive because it's funny is I'm driving. I don't even remember where I was driving to. What happened to Beyonce? Where'd she go? Here's where she went. It's good.
I don't know if you know this. She's been, in the news a lot and, doing things. She hasn't disappeared. She had this whole thing, Lemonade. It's very big.
No, nope. Okay. Not familiar. But, she hasn't released like a record.
She released Lemonade and it was huge. I mean, it was
when
this year. It was gigantic. Took over the whole world for a bit. She accused Jay-Z of cheating on her. Whole 9 yards.
Is it not on? It's on
Apple Tidal Music? Because.
Oh yeah. See, that's why I don't know anything about it.
Anyway, I think it may be on Apple Music by now. But anyway, this movie looks amazing. This cast looks fantastic. Jon Favreau directing. Disney, shut up and take my money. Summer of 2019. Like I'm there. Like I'm already there.
2019. It's forever away.
Gotta wait because you gotta make it. Now, Josh, I added this next story just for you. Seriously, I looked at this like, this is a Josh Burns story. So apparently, in a very mature move, Tyrese says that he will not participate in Fast and Furious 9 if The Rock participates. No, I'm not going to be there if he's there. Who's going to win in that fight?
It's going to be real tough killing off Roman.
Like, who's going to win that fight?
Like, your only real connection to the team died. Right, Paul Walker's gone.
Right.
And I get you're friends with Tej, but nobody likes you. So you are lucky to be there. And you can't take on The Rock. Like he is one of the, if not the biggest names right now
absolutely.
In Hollywood.
Yep.
He
is one of the most bankable movie stars right now.
Right, former college football standout, former professional wrestler, biggest name in the game guy. He's bigger than life, and you want to take him on, Tyrese.
Yeah. Nope.
Good job.
This apparently all feud. This comes from a feud where The Rock and Jason Statham were kind of offered in the back room this deal to do a spin-off movie between those two characters from the Fast and Furious, and that's delaying the production of the 9th movie. And Tyrese is like, "Hey, I just would appreciate the heads up. I got bills to pay, and I've got court fees and stuff, and this is stopping me from earning money."
Stop being such a knucklehead, and you don't have that problem.
I mean, you listen. If go to a studio and be like, "Hey, it's me or The Rock," no contest, dude. It's going to go to The Rock.
Oh, it was nice knowing you, bud. And I guess you should enjoy retirement.
So
I think your bills are bad now. Wait until nobody wants to hire you.
My favorite thing for this is my final thought on this was don't be stupid. Like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing?
Right. It's dumb.
Not happening. The other thing I put in here, too, this was something that we actually kind of wanted to talk a little while back ago, just everything kind of brushed over it, and that is Amazon Prime put out a trailer for Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, starring John Krasinski, of all people.
Yeah.
Now, you seem to be on board with this a little more than I am. Why is John Krasinski the right choice for this? Because we've tried other people to do this character.
What do you well, I guess the answer is a question. What do you really know about the new clandestine or prototypical special ops recruit? Like, what do you know anybody who's a Navy SEAL or an Army Ranger?
No, I can't say I do.
Okay. I know a few. They look like John Krasinski. They look like regular dudes.
Really?
You know, not too tall, not too bulky, not meatheads, right? Super intelligent, athletic, fit, you know, understand how to use their skills and strengths to their advantage. That you wouldn't pick them out of a crowd. And that's kind of what I love about him as Jack Ryan.
Now, I mean,
he's not as pretty, obviously, as Chris Pine.
Right.
He's not as bulky as Ben Affleck.
Right.
And he's, I'm not Harrison Ford, whatever, but I love this. I love this cast.
The reason that Josh has listed off those names is those were the people that have portrayed this character before. So Alec Baldwin, Harrison Ford twice, Ben Affleck, and Chris Pine in 2014, Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit.
Which was a good movie, but
I liked it.
Like Chris Pine, I don't feel like this guy blends in anywhere. And if you saw 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi,
I wanted to, right? And that was the question.
I cannot believe you have not seen that movie yet.
That I think right there is probably what's selling you on John Krasinski in this movie.
Well, it's a big part of it, but it's only a big part of it because those characters were cast incredibly well. They're a bunch of dudes that you wouldn't look at and go Special Forces, but that's who Special Forces wants now. They want guys that can blend.
So here's my question. Seeing that movie, right, and seeing him in a serious role, in a role that required a lot of action, right?
He was badass.
That's the question. Can I get past Jim from The Office?
Yes. Immediately you get past Jim from The Office. Like in the first 15 minutes, you're past it.
Okay, good. Because this trailer looks interesting. I like it because they're not going right off I've had military training to shoot, every gun under the surface of the sun.
Well, no, he's an analyst.
Exactly.
Jack Ryan's an analyst. Jack Ryan is not a field agent.
Right.
But he has to become one. And throughout his career, if you're familiar with Tom Clancy, throughout his career, Jack Ryan becomes a very skilled field agent. And this is perfect. But it needs to be... like they need to take their time developing him. They can't go from at 1 minute he's Chuck and the next minute he's the Intersect, because it doesn't. Like, that's not how it. Like, I'm serious.
I know you are. I just love the analogy.
It's not gonna work that way. But I really, really, really like John Krasinski in this role, Jim Halper in this role. Whatever, I don't care. It's all the same.
And this is coming to Amazon soon, right? This isn't out right now.
2018.
Okay. And it's going to be a 10-episode series that's going to hit Amazon in 2018. So something to look forward to. I have a Prime membership, so I'm probably gonna watch this. I think it looks interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. As we all know, I love to go around the internet, find the weird, find the obscure, and then ask for a tech perspective. Now, when I stumbled upon this article on the 30th of October, I thought it was a joke. I thought this was going to blow over really quick. I had no idea that the internet was just going to take it, grab it by the horns, and be like, "This is going to drive the thing for the week. Let's do it." And that is the cheeseburger emoji. You've had to have heard by this by now, but let me give you, Trent. Somebody pointed out that if you look, and I hope you go to the show notes and actually see the emoji side by side. If you look at the emoji for the cheeseburger on Apple, right? Mm-hmm. If you look for it on Microsoft, it looks like a normal cheeseburger. You look at Google's, it looks very appetizing too, until you look at the construction of the burger. And Josh, I'm so glad that you're here because you are the person that wanted to help me break this down. Here's how the Google cheeseburger is constructed. Bun, lettuce, tomato, meat, cheese, bun. Cheese on the bottom of the burger.
Okay, I'm just gonna... The only one that got it right is Microsoft, unfortunately.
See, I disagree.
Well, you might, except who the fuck is going to separate? Okay, so here's what we've done. Here's what Apple has done. Now I have a slippery tomato on top of my melty cheese, sure. And I've got wilty floppy lettuce underneath my hot burger that is now soaking through the bottom bun. That's a problem. Google putting the cheese on the bottom just shows me really that
their MK Ultra status is really kind of.
Yeah, it's very clear that they have no idea how to construct a hamburger when you put the cheese on the bottom. Now, Microsoft, however, has the burger, then the cheese, right? Then the tomato, but they've got this cold, crisp lettuce gripping the tomato and holding it in place. So
the Microsoft construction of bun, lettuce, tomato, cheese, and burger is how I make a burger. That is how I actually make a cheeseburger.
Right. So, and here's the other thing. What both Google's construction is okay, and Apple's is okay for the application of condiments. Actually, Apple's is not, because you'd want your mayo where the lettuce and tomato are, and you want your ketchup and mustard in direct contact with the burger, bottom bun.
I will agree that. The crux came down to this. Google is ruining the bottom of the burger. Just 100%. You just got gross cheese and you've got grease.
You're going to end up with cheese under your tongue in this scenario.
It's the first thing that you taste.
You're like a dog with like peanut butter. And you're just trying to work the cheese out from under there.
So listen, this got so high up that Sundar Pichai, he is the CEO of Google, said, quote, "I will drop everything else we are doing and address this on Monday if folks on the internet can agree of the right way to do this." Now, good luck, though, having the internet agree on the way to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft, and the way the article lays it out is that it's the American archetype. And it is essentially the way you've seen a McDonald's hamburger constructed forever. So, like, and by the way, now that I'm saying that, if you haven't seen The Founder, it's on Netflix. Go watch The Founder. It's amazing. But Samsung, they called it a monstrosity to put. You'd have to put the lettuce on top of the sizzling patty and then put on the cheese to melt it. Like, it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Right?
It's totally true. It's a terrible emoji. And then LG, I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, HTC has 2 burgers, but then it's just stuffed with either lettuce or pickles or both. I'm not sure what's happening. But I would much rather, now that we're scrolling through this article, which is in the show notes, everybody, I would much rather drink Apple's beer than Google's urine, which is somehow half full, and there's still a full head of foam on the top of the glass, separated from the beer.
So you want to hear this? On the same article in the show notes, right, at The Verge, there are over 200,000 votes on which one is the correct vote. Would you like to hear right now what the world thinks is the right interpretation of this?
Yes.
They think Google, with 63% of the vote, is the best representation of the burger emoji. Coming in on number 2 is Microsoft at 18%.
Well, because you wouldn't separate, like, Apple separated the lettuce and the tomato, and that's a problem.
I get that, but 63% think Google's in the right? The cheese goes on the bottom?
Well, it's certainly more right than Apple.
Right, but not more right than Microsoft.
No, but again, everybody's like, wait, an emoji? How would you even use an emoji with Microsoft? I don't understand.
That's very true.
It's like it doesn't compute, right? So like, basically it boils down to, although Microsoft did it right, it's wrong because you can't use an emoji from Microsoft.
That's right.
And then you're just left with like everybody is, Apple and Google, and this is the only thing that Apple's done that I can say makes absolutely no sense. Like, this doesn't make any. Why would you separate the lettuce and the tomato? That's idiotic.
And
also, is this like do they have it on is like beef on weck? They have it on like a weck bun with caraway seeds.
I don't know.
It's just it's all wrong. Apple's emoji is wrong.
It's the first time you're gonna listen. Everyone who's everyone who thinks that we're just Apple fanboys, I want you to hear right now Josh Burns saying that Apple's just wrong. Okay.
Well, why would you use a weck bun?
Listen, I mean,
on top of everything else,
California, because they're in California.
Yeah, but like California doesn't have beef on weck, so like they don't get it, right? That's like a upstate New York thing, and this is like,
again,
so.
I had no idea people were so passionate about the goddamn cheeseburger emoji.
It's a super dense bun, so automatically, as soon as you take a bite, you're squirting part of your burger out. It's gone because the bun is too dense. Google did it right, except the cheese on the bottom, but I can forgive it because they didn't separate the lettuce and tomato. The lettuce is against the cold mayo on the bun. So I'm behind this.
I need to know what you, the listener, think about this cheeseburger emoji thing. I just have to know. I'm just so goddamn curious. Hit us up on Twitter or on Facebook. Just search at That Kind of Nerd. I have to hear what do you guys think about it.
I have seen Brian Roman construct some hellacious burgers. So I need him to weigh in, especially. But for everyone else who's just just a regular fast food burger eater, what's acceptable to you? That's what we want to hear.
I want to take a quick moment and I want to talk a little bit about a third-party keyboard that launched on the iPhone. And this is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this. I have replaced my Apple default keyboard with this new one from Grammarly. If you haven't heard of Grammarly, seriously, if you're a person who writes a lot of professional emails, if you are a student who is working on papers, you need this application. It is a plugin for Google Chrome, a plugin for Safari. You can put it into Office. And listen, it can go everywhere. It will just make you a much better writer and help you with your grammar. It makes fantastic suggestions. You can add things to it. Listen, it's phenomenal. I have been waiting for this to come out, some form on iOS, because I end up writing a lot of emails for work on my phone, and I am an awful speller, and I am terrible at getting grammar correct. I need to work on that, something I've been working on for years. This app came along and has taught me so much, and they've now made an official third-party keyboard. So instead of having the suggestions that come up on the little bar on the top, it's now looking at your entire sentence, including grammar and structure. So it'll help you with reorganizing things, just make it more clearly... Sorry, my dog decided to bark. Just make a more cohesive message. I cannot recommend this more. Please use it on every operating system that you have. Check this out. It is coming to Android soon. But Josh, I know that you are a native or nothing kind of guy. So I'm very curious to hear what you would think about a keyboard like this.
I think two things. First, I was born with this plugin in my brain. So I don't.
Yeah.
And secondly, I will never endorse a crutch. This is poor. It's just contributing to the dilution of the English language by automating your communicative process instead of you learning organically the way this language works. And it is a beautiful language. I don't dumb down my speech to my children, right? I use adult words, and they always say, well, what's this? So I say, well, look it up. And I hand them, the 10-pound dictionary, and they have to turn and they have to look it up, whether it's an idiom or a phrase or a string of words or just one word. If I say something and one of my kids says, what does that mean? I say, look it up. They look it up. They see what it is. They see it in context. And, then they have to put it in a sentence of their own. It's teaching them grammar, language, syntax, context. That's our language. This is a bastardization
hold on, though,
of our
because
language.
Here's the thing. And like I said, I'm actively trying to be better in this because I know I need to be.
Well, then be better, but don't use a crutch.
So this helps. This service helps.
I know it's a crutch.
No. At the end of the week, you get a summary of what you've written, and you kind of get a little breakdown as to what are the common mistakes you keep making. What is the thing you keep doing over and over again that you're maybe not aware of? And I've corrected.
Has your grammar improved?
Yes. I feel in my correspondence, both professionally
Great.
and...
So then my question to you is, how long is it before you can remove this crutch?
I don't know. I've been using it for about, 4 or 5 months now. I would probably say I give it to... I don't know, probably hit the 12-month mark on using this software, this program, and then I can get out.
I can get behind that as a learning tool, as something to improve your professional skills and communication. I can get behind it. For everyday communication, just do me a favor and don't be an idiot.
Right, and that's why I framed from the start. If you are a student, if you're working professionally and you're looking to upgrade just your language and your overall grammar, this is a great way to do it.
Students are different because they have to deal with either MLS or APA formatting. So I wouldn't rely on
this. This is geared towards that.
Is it MLS or APA?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know that they take
Okay.
that into account.
Okay.
I think it's definitely worth investigating, but you're right on the money that this is not something to replace just your everyday communications. You're gonna hate it as a keyboard, right? Because your normal suggestions are gone. B, right? You don't have easy access to like your emoji. So if you type something in and then you press the button, it doesn't like, well, I'll emoji it for you. So like,
I that's actually my least favorite feature of iOS.
I know, but that's general communication just between people.
I don't want to speak in emojis. Although I like today I've sent at least like 6 or 7 emojis.
I just think it's a really interesting tool. I think you're right on though. Don't make this your de facto way of living your life. Learn from it. And their weekly email with a breakdown of what you've done, how your grammar's improved, and what are the common things you keep slipping up on. I find that to be a very useful resource. So I just wanted to put it out there because I think it's a great tool. I really do. I've actually used this on other people's emails that they've sent to me. I'm like, hey, actually, I think we should make a couple changes. And like, oh, that sounds much better. I'm like, thank you. I put it out there. So I put this out on my personal. I put this out on my personal Facebook feed, saying this is really good. And Craig Phillips, a friend of the show, he kind of said the same thing. He's like, hey, use Gboard instead. And I'm like, no, I've got a different keyboard for GIFs. I'm covered. He goes, maybe you should just be better at grammar. To which I then put in
right.
just just a crying GIF. And then he says, oh, I get it. You want to make really great content, but your grammar sucks. So you make a podcast. To which my reply was, stop reading me like a book.
Craig is not only perceptive but linguistically, pretty talented. He's a smart character.
So I just wanted to call him out on peering into my actual soul and calling me out on it, and it made me sad. But at the same time, I recognize my faults. All right, finally, for the bit of tech perspective, Josh, we just talked about the Emoji. You got your hands on an iPhone 10
sure
today as we record on Friday.
On launch day, my FedEx delivered my iPhone 10 flagship edition, beautiful space gray deliciousness. And I will say that I am going to drop this phone for sure. There's no way that I don't drop this phone. It is. So I want you to picture a phone, like a phone the size of the iPhone 7 or iPhone 6 or whatever, right? But heavier than a 7 Plus. And slicker because it's all glass. I don't use a case. So I'm definitely going to drop this thing. There's no question about it. It is like a cell phone version of Doug Martin. It's just like it's just heavier than it should be. Basically.
Right.
Like he's 5'3" and he weighs 230 pounds and he shouldn't it just doesn't make any sense physically.
Right.
But that's what this phone is. So here's what I will say. Everybody was kind of freaking out about the Face ID and it's clunky. It's not clunky. It works beautifully. It's easy to open. It's easy to multitask, close apps, all that stuff. I haven't found anything that I'm not really comfortable with. I will say that swiping down from the top left to get notifications and top right to get control center, that's taking me a little bit of time to get used to.
I was still happy to see that they still had reachability on the phone. If you don't know what that is, especially on the Plus models or the ones with the bigger screens where you can't get
you can't, yeah, if you're a righty, you can't go top left with your thumb.
Right, but
this
you can kind of swipe up a little bit from that little line for the home, the gesture to take you home, and it brings half the screen down. So you can hit things on the top left and right. So it was I was glad to see that feature was still there. And then I had sent you a video, and I'll include it in the show notes of the way that they project the dots.
So dope.
On your face.
Dude. And look.
Incredible.
It is. And every single picture I've ever posted on Facebook of my son, it auto tags him as me. Okay? He cannot use Face ID to open this.
Right.
Regardless of how much he resembles me, it's intelligent. It makes sense. Other apps identify him as me. This phone does not, which is really cool. And Emoji is fantastic. Like, so my buddy, he flies to Denver for a long weekend, and he gets there. And his rental car is like a 2017 BMW 740. I take like the Animoji Fox and I go, man, that's a dope ass ride. And it's this little fucking Fox with my voice, and it's hilarious. Man, it's just, Christian's using it. He finds it hysterical. It's a really cool little feature, and I know it's dumb, right? But it's so much like, I feel like if I text something, oh yeah, that's cool, but I don't ever feel like you really understand my sentiment. This does it.
Yeah. The other thing, though, about Face ID, which I saw several videos confirming, and Apple did address this in their keynote, was that identical twins, can access each other's phones.
Well, of course, because their faces
are pretty much the damn same.
There's no way around that, right? But I will say this, for the way that the IR craziness on the Face ID, what's it called? What's the technology called? The bar? What's that thing?
Almost like the Kinect?
No, but what's it called?
Oh, the depth perception. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what it is. Fuck it. But what I find amazing, I was outside, dark.
Yep.
It was dark. There's no light anywhere.
Yeah.
Phone unlocks right away.
Yep.
And it is crazy fast. I have not yet played with the camera. I'll do that this weekend.
Yeah, the new Bionic processor, because I have it in the 8 Plus, is crazy fast.
So, but here's what else I will say. In previous phones, I've always done a restore from iCloud backup, right? Because I have like 200 apps on my phone, so I need to bring them all over because I'm crazy.
Right.
However, the thing that I noticed is that even without restoring from backup, all of the enhancements that Apple has built into iCloud and Keychain,
iMessage,
all of my iMessage, right? All of my other stuff came over without restoring from backup.
Right.
So like, I don't need to do any of that. All my passwords, all of my sites, all the settings, all the iCloud stuff, my files, all that shit moved automatically. All of my chat history, my pictures, automatic.
They had a similar,
which is different, right? That's relatively new in the past 12 months.
And
right?
I thought the other thing too, when I was setting up my 8, was they had the option where you can bring another phone like close
set up like your watch, like your
exactly.
Apple Watch.
You kind of scan this.
So brilliant. Yes.
Listen, you've had the phone for not even a full 24 hours yet. So
I've had the phone for not even 8 hours.
Right. So I just wanted to say, hey, congratulations on getting that phone right away on launch day. That's just a little dedication. And I just wanted to hear some of your first impressions. So I definitely want to hear more next week. I'm very happy with the fact that I went over to the 8 Plus. And happy with not getting the 10, but
you're gonna regret.
No, I don't think I am.
You're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret it.
I really don't think.
Trust me, you're gonna regret it. And dedication. My alarms were set at 2:45, 2:50, 2:52, 2:54, 2:56, and
see
so
that right there.
I deliberately,
that's that kind of nerd, right there.
I deliberately fell asleep in my desk chair, right, and then like sprung into action at 2:56 and ordered my phone so I could have it on launch day. And it's the flagship. It's the biggest, baddest phone that Apple makes, and I'm absolutely in love with it.
All right, so that is the end of the iPhone talk. If you skip past it, I don't know why, but whatever. Welcome aboard. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it is time to look at the world of comics, see what's affecting TV, see what's affecting movies, but most of all, how it's affecting you, the listener. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk. And you know what? I'm putting Brian in. Cape Talk. You may not be here right now. You may be sending me pictures of Hollywood Babylon on my phone right now, Brian, but you're here on the podcast right now. So Henry Cavill, who plays Superman right now in the DCEU, gave an interview, and of course the conversation between Marvel and DC popped up, and he gave a really odd quote. And I'm really curious to hear what you think of this. He said, even if Marvel didn't exist, we'd struggle. There was a style Warner Brothers and DC Comics was going for, an attempt to be different and look at things from a slightly different perspective, which hasn't necessarily worked. Yes, it's made money, but it hasn't been a critical success and hasn't given everyone the sensation which superheroes should give the viewer. And I thought that was an interesting quote, mainly because that's how I feel. It's nice to know that Henry Cavill feels that way, but I think that's also a shift that if he is not, thrown into a pack of wolves for saying this may be the way that Warner Brothers and DC is feeling about this comment. But I'm very curious to hear what you think that the Man of Steel himself is giving out this kind of quote about the current movies he's in.
Well, it stands to reason that Henry Cavill is the most popular actor at this point in the DCEU because he's had the best reviews, basically.
Sure.
No,
I mean, he was in Batman v Superman, and he got
Man of Steel was reviewed
Man of Steel
favorably.
was very well, but Batman v Superman, everyone pointed to Henry Cavill as the he looked like he had to poop the whole time. Like he was, he looked constipated. Everyone remarked on how.
I don't agree with that assessment, but I think that at this point he's been featured in more films than anybody
Correct.
else. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So as the resident veteran, right? Maybe he gets to editorialize a little bit. I don't think he'd be saying anything if it wasn't something that was already on the surface. And frankly, how do we know this isn't PR? Like, how do we know this isn't, Jed Bartlett trying to overcome his opponent, setting the bar so low that he can't possibly win a debate.
Well, because
right. Or like, how do we know this isn't Leo leaking the video of him struggling in debate prep to set the bar low?
And by the way, if you're not getting any of those references, shame on you. Go watch The West Wing.
Yeah, watch The West Wing in its entirety. But that's the only thing I can really the only simile I can put in there is this is like trying to lower the bar, trying to lower expectations, and I'm okay with it because, frankly, they're not Marvel. They're just not scope, not scale. They don't have the star power.
And I don't want them to be. I want them to be their own thing. I really do.
For sure, right? And although Affleck is arguably a bigger star than anybody Marvel has,
right?
Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot and Ezra Miller and everybody else, they pale in comparison to everybody else Marvel has. So it's just they're just not the same caliber. But I will continue to say that I love all of these movies. I really do, including Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition, and I am putting Ultimate Edition on the end.
It's important.
But I have watched all of these movies multiple times and enjoyed them immensely, with the exception of Wonder Woman. That I can do without.
So, I mean, here's the thing I'll say for it. Everyone in the nerd zeitgeist knows that the
zeitgeist.
That's a word.
No, I know it sure is.
Thanks, Grammarly. Asshole. Anyway, anyone in the nerdy world knows that there is going to be a tonal shift happening within the DCEU, right? Just like we talked about Shazam last week when Zachary Levi's going to be taking over the role of Shazam. Yay,
Shazam!
That Zack Snyder has left the projects. We've now got Joss Whedon coming in. Wonder Woman was a different tone, and the nerd world knows that, but mainstream people don't, and mall walkers don't know that. That sounds so derogatory when I say it. It sounds great when you say mall walkers.
They don't care, but the mall walkers don't care.
But this may signal to them that this is a different movie. That, hey, we're going to make that people are going to get the reaction from superheroes that they deserve. That was my biggest complaint with Man of Steel, was the moment where, spoilers, he kills Zod, and I'm sitting next to a little kid who is crying because he knows that Superman's a murderer. Someone yelled murderer out in the middle of the theater. Kid is crying.
That's not why the kid's crying. That was a scary moment.
Someone yelled the word murderer, and the kid cried because he goes, well, Superman's a murderer?
Then you had one person in your theater taking this way too seriously.
I agree on that part. I didn't. Anyway, I think you may be right that it is a spin on PR. I just thought it was interesting that you're going to have Henry Cavill kind of do that right now, and why not have Ben Affleck say, "Hey, tonal shift"?
Because why wouldn't you want Superman being the one?
That's true.
I mean, no.
You're right there. No, you're absolutely right.
And I think we just need to be cognizant of the fact that it's not like there's no comparison. They're never going to stack up.
Right. I think it's true that he said even if Marvel didn't exist, we'd struggle. is kind of telling too, because again, I don't want DC to just be Marvel. That'd be boring.
No, but that's the line, right? That's the setting the bar low line. That is the.
So this is the thing. This is the Muhammad Ali against the ropes and just going to come out.
That's the rope-a-dope right there. Is even if my opponent wasn't my opponent, I'd still stumble all over myself. Type of thing. Like, it's just, I'm kind of a dumbass. Is what he's saying.
Boy, I don't know.
Right. Thank you, Governor Ritchie. You can go back to your state.
Okay, all right. At that point, then I will concede.
Crime boy, I don't know. That's where I decided to keep. Very good, CJ. That was very good.
I appreciate it. I'll be here all day. Okay, no, that I can get behind that a little more. I thought it was nice to see though that you can say this and they can kind of admit even to themselves, hey, missed the mark. We're gonna work on it, and hopefully Justice League is the movie that brings about that change. So, all right, cool. Happy news then. Sounds like this was a good thing to hear.
Cape Talk.
Oh, that's great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Cape Talk. And now I'm using your thing right there.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Josh. So, I mean, as we talked about the last couple of weeks, our schedules have been a little chaotic. But as part of our website, we define a nerd as someone who has an intense passion about a subject and wants to share that with the world. So it's not just about technology. It's not just about comic books. It's about everything. And for Josh, he is that kind of nerd when it comes to sports. And recently, baseball was his latest obsession. So you weren't here, Josh, so I definitely wanted you to kind of tell little people about why you're a nerd for baseball and what's been going on in that world.
So the thing that wrapped up this week for me and sort of consumed most of the last, month of my life is postseason baseball. And the World Series finished in spectacular fashion with yet another team sort of ending their drought of 56 years without a championship. The Houston Astros, who beat my Yankees in the American League Championship Series, went on to win a spectacular 7-game series. This was if it's possible, this was even better than last year's postseason baseball, and especially important and monumental for me because it's the first year that Christian really got involved in baseball. And he and I watched probably 100 games together throughout the year on MLB app or MLB TV, which, by the way, folks, if you're not familiar with the way, baseball works, 162 games from every team. So there's games every single day during the baseball season. You pay $110 for the entire season, including postseason of Major League Baseball, to watch every game. Put it in context. To do the same thing with football, it's $360 for 17 weeks, 17 games from 32 teams. Everybody needs to be watching baseball. It's not only America's pastime, but it's so good. It's so dramatic. It's filled with action. They set records for home runs and strikeouts, both in the same series, which is incredible. This was an amazing season of baseball, an amazing postseason. That we saw all kinds of stuff. Young players setting all-time records for single-season home runs. Aaron Judge from the Yankees. And then we had the most interesting thing to me was in 2014, a Sports Illustrated writer had an article that said, your 2017 World Series winners are the Houston Astros. And he put a picture of their young outfielder, George Springer, on the cover, CJ. And here's why this is important. This guy wrote an article about how the Astros were building a team based on sabermetrics, right? Moneyball.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay, so they built, and in 2014, he said that the Sports Illustrated cover was your 2017 World Series champions, Houston Astros.
So 3 years ahead of...
He predicted it 3 years ahead, and the guy he put on the cover was the World Series MVP. How crazy is that? Right? Look, folks, Major League Baseball is back in a big way. You need to get behind it. You need to go to some games. They're inexpensive, right? Unless you're trying to go to Yankee Stadium. You can get seats any day of the week for $20, maybe even less than
I went to a
$20.
Phillies game this year, and I actually had a great time just watching the game. I thought it was great.
You're going to have a great time at the ballpark. You'll have a great time with your family and your friends watching the game. Get your kids involved. If you have them, get them involved. This has been an incredibly rewarding experience, bonding experience for me and my son. And he's so charged up. And he's like, Daddy, I can't believe baseball's over. And my response was, well, pitchers and catchers report in 13 weeks. So we're okay. And then I text my boss. I'm like, I'm not sure you're aware, but I'm going to have a lot of business in the Clearwater, Florida area right around March.
That's what's happening.
So listen, the World Series was amazing. The entire postseason, the wrap up to the regular season was charged. The Cleveland Indians set, a record for consecutive wins, and then lost an amazing series to my Yankees, who were not predicted to even make the playoffs. So to take the new World Series champs to 7 games, I'm very proud, and it was a great season. I thank you, non-sports fans, for putting up with my my blurb of a couple minutes. It's very near and dear to my heart.
So obviously this show isn't just a one-way conversation. We want to hear from you. So go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to our website, thatkindofnerd.com. Tell us what you think about these topics. If you're a little shy, you can text us at 484-373-4119. Or if you want your voice on the show, call that number and leave us a voicemail. We will play it right here on the air. So share your thoughts. We definitely want to hear from you, especially about this cheeseburger thing. Again, I'm really interested to hear about your ideas about cheeseburgers. I never thought I would say this out loud. Thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. I swear the 3 of us will be together very soon. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show, I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd, and Apple versus Android is a case to be heard, and that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, cause you are that kind of nerd.
Henry Cavill gave an interview. He played. I'm going to start over and actually get my fucking thoughts together and be coherent.
Yeah, good man.
So Henry Cavill,
maybe put it in Grammarly and have it do it for you.
You bastard!
Cats love box.
Stupid cat.
Just like kids love log.
Because it's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
It's better than bad. It's good.
Brian's yelling at me right now in his car.
You're like a dog with like peanut butter and like you're just trying to work the cheese out from under there.